Hello and welcome back to the best of rSlash. Today we're taking a look at rSlash where OP's manager gets fired for making him clean the shop. This first story has been posted by Just Gonna Throw. Back when I was in college, I lived in a 2-bedroom apartment with a nice German student. He was a nice guy, and he would often have his friends over. I didn't mind it at all because I just moved to the area and needed new friends anyway. Our landlady, though, she was a nightmare. She was this small, grumpy lady who would complain over the smallest things. She doesn't live with us, but tries to control everything. The color of our sheets, the scent of candles that we light, where we put our stuff, etc. Needless to say, we hated her. We pay for our electricity and water, so it doesn't matter if we have our friends, family stay over once in a while because whatever they consume more of, we will foot the bill ourselves anyway. My sister visits me once a month for one night, just whenever she's in town. One day, my landlord found out and got so mad she wanted to call the cops on us for not respecting the rules of guests cannot spend the night at her property. The only reason she does this is because she feels if a guest would stay the night, they would have to pay her the full rent for the month. The month! But cue malicious compliance. When one of my German roommate's friends was laid off from his main job, he was left homeless with only a grave shift part-time job. He asked if he could stay with us for about a week or two. I told him I didn't mind, but my landlady might mind. They told me not to worry. And she was fuming when she found out. Easily, the day after he decided to stay with us because she checks on us unannounced every other day and has security cameras outside our door. She threatened to call the cops on us again, and all my roommate said was, "Well, you told us explicitly no one can spend the night at our property. He is never here at night because he's working, so there's no rules broken here." She had nothing to say and left. We could hear her screaming from inside her car that was parked right outside. This story has been posted by FredShred. This happened when I worked in retail around 2005. I was 15. I was working at a very small grocery store, and although it was a small store, we were always busy as it was near a popular beach and along a highway rest area. That night, before I'd worked from 12 a.m. until 6 a.m. packing shelves, there was a huge delivery coming in that had to be stocked for the next day. I was offered double-time pay for the shift, so I jumped at the chance to work it. At 12 p.m. that afternoon, 6 hours after finishing the packing shift and barely getting 5 hours of sleep, I got a call from the assistant manager, Fran, who wanted me to come in to work a shift. I explained that I had just finished a shift and had only had a few hours of sleep. Fran says, "But the other girls had called in sick and you're the closest person." I lived in the motel next door. My family were managing the motel at this point. Me, being too naive that I didn't legally have to come in and should have been paid overtime for working back-to-back shifts? Fine, but I'm working on 5 hours of sleep, so don't expect me to do much. I got dressed and walked like a zombie to the store. When I arrived, we were extremely quiet, with that occasional customer every 10 minutes or so. I was surprised she called me in at all, considering that even on a busy day, one person can run the store on their own. Fran, around 2 p.m., says, "I'm going on my break. Will you clean the store while I'm gone?" I'm picking up a duster, knelt down on my knees, and then proceeded to dust underneath the shelves. It had been thoroughly cleaned during the 6-hour packing shift I'd done a few hours ago, so it didn't need to be mopped. "No, not like that. You need to go under the shelf to clean it." Why can't you do it? I'm exhausted. I'm doing my best not to fall asleep on the spot." I'd informed her that I'd done the midnight packing shift. "You have to do it. I have a bad back." Fran then proceeds to grab the duster and lean down and dust it underneath the shelf to demonstrate, going against the OSHA bending guidelines, making it look easy for someone who claimed to have a bad back. I'm going on my 15-minute break, and by the time I come back, I want the floors to be spotless. Don't do anything else. Absolutely spotless. Gotcha. It was 2:02 p.m. at this point, and I knew that any minute now there would be a tour bus arriving. It arrives around 2 p.m. every day. Cue the malicious compliance. I started cleaning under every shelf and every display like my life depended on it. And a few minutes after Fran had left, the customers began to trickle in, but I was under strict instructions to only clean under the shelves. Customers began to queue at the registers. This was before there was self-serve registers. The customer, after noticing I was there but not serving them, "Hello? Are you working? Can I get some service, please?" "I'm sorry, sir," bringing out my innocent puppy dog eyes and red tear-dusted eyes from the lack of sleep. "I was told I had to clean the floors and I wasn't allowed to do anything else. I really don't want to lose my job." The customer stormed out of the store and a few minutes later came back with Fran in tow. She had been outside smoking. The customer, addressing Fran, "This poor young lady is in tears because you threatened her job. Fran, you have to stop doing this to your staff. Frank, the manager, is in charge of Fran, will be hearing about this." Me, feeling brave and empowered by this, "I told you I'm working on 5 hours of sleep after working all night with Frank packing shelves. I'm going to go home to sleep. I believe you have some customers that need serving." I was so tired and angry that I didn't care if I was fired, so I went home and slept for most of the afternoon. It turned out that the customer was one of Frank's close friends and was the driver of the tour bus that arrived every day. I turned up to work my regular shift the next day and explained to Frank everything that had happened and how Fran had threatened me. He told me to go back to work and he would take care of it. Fran got a harsh talking to about her behavior and conduct in the workplace and was let go. This was her final warning, as she had been doing this for months to other staff members. Assistant managers don't have as much powers as they think they do. Oh, and her bad back? She didn't have any back issues. She just used this excuse to not have to do anything at work. I never saw Fran in work uniform after that, but she did come in from time to time to buy groceries. We were the only grocery store in the area apart from a takeaway shop. I'd always give them the same, "Hi, welcome to the store location. How are you today?" with the biggest grin on my face. Boy, was that sweet. You've been listening to the best of rSlash. If you like this kind of content, please let us know by leaving a thumbs up. Also consider subscribing because we release content like this every single day, both YouTube and podcasts.